thank you all for being in this class. It means a lot to see all our agents attending, especially this class, because at KW Memorial, we care for our family, our agents, and we want to make sure that we guide, educate, and provide you with the tools to invest in real estate. I've been investing since, I'll go over this shortly, almost like 13 years in real estate, and I couldn't find a better way to make more money. Now I can feel that if anything happens, I have a passive income. If I decide one day to retire, I don't have to worry about that because I hopefully at that time I can have a good passive income. Kind of no. So first of all, 90% of all millionaires become so through owning real estate. So 90% of the millionaire become so through owning real estate. So it's very important to own real estate. Do you all agree on that? How many of you own real estate? How many of you own more than one property? How many of you own more than two properties? 3? 4? That's awesome. So I have like 2, 3 of them that are like closer than the others of being within the 90%. I love that. So how many of you wants to own investment properties? Okay. You want to own? Maria, I know that you want to own. So before we get started, I would like to express my gratitude to a great preferred partner, someone who's always ready to help and support and what do you call it, actually get us the best drinks and hors d'oeuvre, or what we call it, yummies. Can you please come on up? Can you give Keely a big round of applause? Keely, what do you do?
I am with a group called Free Model, and Roger called me yesterday and asked if I could help sponsor some light bites and fun stuff for this class. And I've been investing since 2017, so this is very near and dear to my heart. So I'm so happy to jump on board. Free Model is a preferred partner of KW Memorials, and we are a pre-sales concierge. So I think I have met a lot of you. There's a lot of familiar faces in the room. But for those of you that don't know of us, we are designed to be a resource for agents should you have a listing that needs some work done before it hits the market. So whether that be a light make ready, we just need paint, fresh carpet, let's get it looking clean and good and get it listed, or this was an inherited home and it's in a super desirable neighborhood and it could be worth a lot, but it hasn't been touched since the 80s. Can you come in here and make this a brand new home? We can do a little bit of anything and everything in between. We do everything through our local project directors, so they become your dedicated single point of contact. They meet you and your client at the home. You walk through scope of work. They are there from your very initial bid all the way to you listing the property. They're your person. So you're a bit married to them throughout this project, but they take all of the project management off of your and your client's plate. And we do offer up to 1 year deferred payment. So the client pays us back when they sell the home, no interest, no time-based fees. It is settled at closing via seller's escrow demand. And what did we miss, Roger?
The thing is, if your clients would like to have top dollar, to get top dollar for their property, it's very important that the property is already remodeled or like is good enough to get the top dollar for it, right? Our job as sales agents is to make sure that we get the best interest of our client. That's why at Memorial here, we have these awesome preferred partners that can help us to achieve our goal by selling the houses to our client and provide them with the first-class services. So Keely, Jen, have you worked with Keely? Can you tell us please more about? Jen is always ready.
Jen's ready.
Yes. So my clients are working with Free Model right now. Hopefully, Free Model will actually start in a couple of days or so. But they have been very patient with my clients because sometimes clients aren't always on the ball about things, but my clients really needed a whole bathroom and house refresh. So their bathroom got torn up because of some plumbing work that had to be done to the house. And so Free Model is going to remodel the entire bathroom
That's
and then do
awesome.
some work on the rest of the house. So I'm really excited. I've been trying to document the process. And yeah, so I'm really excited to see how it's going to go. And they've been really easy to work with so far. My
Nice.
clients, not so easy.
This is
Remodel
most of
is
the
great.
time. So the thing is, as long as they have equity in the house, you
Yes.
can go ahead and do the job, right?
Right, so we don't look at their credit, we don't look at their income. We're not even asking for that information. Our lenders, AKA two, would be very mad at us if we were pulling credit right before they sell and buy a new home. All we're looking at is, do they have enough equity in the property for everybody to get paid at the end? So, we're looking at their existing balance owed on their mortgage, plus the cost of the project. We don't want to see the sum of that number exceed 80% of the after repair value. Sure, go ahead.
And what's great about that is, like you said, they pay later or it comes out of proceeds. That was the problem. They wanted to do the remodel. They had started. So that bathroom's actually all torn up. They just did not have the funds
Continue the
to
project.
continue. And that's why they couldn't list the house. But with this option, they can get that done, list the house, and it can be paid afterwards. So,
Absolutely. And the whole idea behind this concept is, let's help homeowners think like investors without having to have all the resources that an investor has. So they don't have to have a lender that'll do deferred payment. They don't have to know what to do or who to do it. They don't have to manage the projects. We're going to come in and do all of it for them, and then they can walk away with the additional income at the end.
What's the best way to reach out to you?
I am going to leave some cards. I have some on the wall. You can call my cell anytime, text me, voice memo me, leave me a voicemail, whatever works best. If you have a project in mind that you want us to go ahead and review and qualify, you can always go to freemodel.com/new project. That's the quickest way to get somebody assigned to. Cool.
That's awesome. Thank you so much.
Jen. Thanks, Roger.
Again, a little bit about me. I have been investing, as I said earlier, since 2011. I bring over 21 years of sales experience, and I know I'm just like 38. So I have successfully flipped more than 13 single family homes and over 11 multifamily properties. I currently own a portfolio of rental property of 9 properties that consist 32 rental units, and I acquired that for the past 6 years. So for today, let's set the expectation. First of all, I would like to know why you are here. Why have you made the choice to attend this class? Can someone help me, please? Can we use the mic, please?
I'm personally interested in flipping homes now because
Okay.
of the economy. I think this is probably a good strategy right now.
Okay.
And I'm glad that you said you did flipping homes. I was thinking about like rental properties, but
That's awesome. Who else? That's fine.
Just trying to get, find some way to create some passive income for me and my family.
That's awesome. Anu?
I have 2 rental properties.
Okay.
One already has a tenant and she's been there for like 14 years.
Okay.
I have another house and the tenant just left a couple of weeks ago. So I'm probably going to be putting it in the market either this month or use it as a fund house. So. I have to
Perfect.
decide.
So you're planning to grow your rent portfolio?
I would like to.
Okay.
know how.
Perfect. Who else?
For myself, I would like to learn because I grew up thinking home ownership period was nothing that was not a possibility. And so I want to empower myself, learn this for myself, but also learn it so that I can share it to others and
Okay.
help others on this path as well.
That's awesome, Joseph. Thank you. Anyone else? Please. That's good. Okay. That's awesome.
I want to learn about the underwriting of the numbers specifically when you're trying to lend as an investment.
Okay.
Sometimes it's like, oh, with assessment mechanism,
That's awesome.
Hi there. Can you hear me? Okay. So I'm looking to flip as well. So my boyfriend's a home builder and realtor. It's match
That's
made in
good.
heaven, right? The hard part I'm finding is finding the properties that are actually gonna be good flips because everything's already priced so high. So like I'm having a hard time. Actually, the hard part's finding the property. We already know how to do everything else. So any tips on that would be great.
So that's the why you are here, right? Why are you here?
Because I work with a lot of clients that are looking for homes to flip, to fix and flip.
Okay.
So that's what I need help with. And I have a question also, if you can answer that later. It's can we trust wholesalers to
Okay.
find good deals
So-
for them?
That's a good question. So let's set the expectations. First of all, we have 2 hours. I can talk about investing in real estate for the whole day. So let's go over the key takeaways, the 10 key takeaways that I'm going to be providing after this, within this class, and afterwards we can have Q&A. Do you all agree on that? Perfect. By the way, we're going to have a series of classes in regards to investment, but that will be by invitation only. So we want to make sure that whoever attends these classes is interested in growing his investment properties in the rental portfolio, and we are here to help them and support them. By the way, these classes are not just for KW Memorial. If you have any other realtor that would like to come and visit our office and be our guest, they are always welcome to do so. Okay? The first set of the key takeaways are market analysis, they're not shown here, property taxes, financial metrics. You always give me a hard time, but that's okay. Property taxes, financial metrics, financing options, legal aspects, property management, risk management, exit strategies, networking, and continuous learning. When we first started with like the market analysis, it's to understand local trends and demand for informed investments decisions. It's crucial for property investment, focusing on understanding the real estate dynamics. We all have this worksheet, right? Let's go to the first question. There are 4 crucial reasons for market analysis when it comes to investing in properties. Can you please list 3 examples? I'm going to give you 1 minute and get back to you. Always remember, there is no right or wrong answer. That's why we are here, right? Who is ready to give me his answer? Perfect. Next. Can you please use the mic so everybody gets a chance to?
So know the profitability of the property, know the insurability, know the legal aspects.
Someone else? Who else? Arash, we're going to hear you a lot today. Use the mic.
He didn't have pen to write on, I just remember.
You do that every day, so that's fine.
Well, it's really important how much you are paying the asset,
Okay,
how much you will make profit a year, and how much it will be ARV or whatever for future if you want to sell it. That's 3 important things for investment for me.
perfect. Thank you, Arash. Thank you, Mona. Let me give you mine. First of all, is supply and demand. You have to analyze the balance between available properties and buyers. When we have high demand and low inventory, this will drive the prices to go very high. Number two, economic indicators like market cycles. Examine local employment rates, income levels, and population growth that affect the property demand. Number three, neighborhood characteristics. Assess safety, amenities, and overall appeal as these influence the property values. Number four, we have the future developments. You have to monitor upcoming projects and zoning changes that could impact demand and values. For me, I always like to read and always be up to date in regard to the development in the city. Let's say if Exxon is having like a refinery right now in like Beaumont, let's say, I go and invest in Beaumont for like a Class C, right? So I make sure that I am providing them these properties to the workers. So you have to always be up to date on what's going on in the city, all the updates and developments. Number two, property types. You have to know the difference between residential, commercial, and industrial properties. Each type of its unique characteristics, risk, and potential returns. Can you please go to the worksheet right now? Question number two, and take a 60 seconds, please. List examples of the different property type that you can invest in real estate market.
I got 4: residential, commercial, farm and ranch, and land.
Awesome. Anyone else? Same?
Would say multifamily homes,
What is that?
multifamily.
Okay. So the types are residential properties, which are often considered less risky, especially in stable markets. Number two, we have luxury residences. Number three, we have commercial properties, tend to have longer lease term and higher rental yields, but can be more sensitive to economic fluctuations. Industrial properties are often require specialized knowledge and may have longer lease agreement. So if you want to invest in commercial, we have one of the best divisions of commercial division. And today we have Philip with us, the chair of the commercial division, that is always willing to help. If you have any question, please go ahead and talk to our commercial specialists. They are here to help and support you. And commercial is not that easy, nor residential, but you have to hire a specialized person in order to help you in the area that you're looking for. Mixed-use properties. Who knows what mixed-use properties is? Perfect. Vacant land. It carries risk due to the zoning laws, and investors should conduct throughout research and land use regulations. Vacation and short-term rentals. What does that mean? We all know Airbnb, right? Perfect. What is a good short-term rental here in Houston? Okay. Anything other than Galveston? Awesome. Why do we invest in the medical center, Jen?
Because a lot of people come for treatments.
Okay. Okay.
Week or so.
Perfect. So this is one of the best areas to invest for short-term rentals here in Houston at the medical center. You can have a unit furnished and lease it for a higher rate and a short-term period. Using the different types of properties help investors determine which align to their investment goals. So it's very important to be knowledgeable when it comes to investing in real estate. Number three, the financial metrics. Learn to analyze cash flow, ROI, cap rate, and NOI. Now we can see the commercial chair happy. That's his thing, the NOI, right? So we're going to dig deeper in regards to these abbreviations. Financial metrics are essential tools for evaluating the performance and potential profitability of real estate investments. Can we go please to the worksheet? Question number 3, please.
Good location is the most important.
Okay. What else? Okay. What else? Yes. Somebody complained about you. We need the mic.
I mean, like you said about knowing about Exxon. I mean,
Okay.
you go this there.
We're talking about, yes, financial metrics right now is different. But you got one good one. Who else? Please. Okay. Somebody is cheating, looking at this. That's fine. Let's get going. So the cash flow is the income generating, first of all, is the cash flow. Is the net income generated from a property after all expenses. Number two, we have the return on investments, the ROI. The ROI measures the profitability and an investment relative to its cost. It is calculated by dividing the net profit from the investment by the initial investment cost, expressed as percentage. A higher ROI indicates a more profitability in the investment. So these terms, we have to know and master these terms. Because if we need to invest in real estate and you're talking to a commercial agent, he will always talk to you this way. This is the language of real estate for commercial people. You might not know all of them, but if you need to get or like be more familiar with this, we have Philippe in the room right now. He can be, I'm just offering your service, sorry, but I know that he's been very helpful for everyone that I refer them to. Number three, we have capitalization rate, which is the cap rate. Who's familiar with the cap rate? What is the cap rate? So ROI is a return on investment, right? Yeah. We have ROI, we have NOI. So let's go to the NOI right now, which is the net operating income. NOI is the total income generated from a property minus operating expenses, excluding the mortgage payment and taxes. Okay. Price per square foot. I'm not going to ask this question. I know that all of you know that, right? And the last one, the last one is the GRM, which is the gross rent multiplier. What is the GRM? You want to keep on doing it? Or you want to help me with that?
It's just an anticipation of what rent would be.
That's
in addition to value add.
So how important is for us to know these financial metrics if you want to invest in commercial real estate?
Depends on what type of return you want to get.
Okay.
Guaranteed. But you would also be pressured if how much you're going to leverage.
That's awesome.
So,
Thank you.
obviously, in most commercial properties, believe it or not, you don't want to really own the property completely. You want to just you want to keep as much cash as you can in your bank account. You can reinvest. So that's why it's not included also in the capital. So, but your bank, whoever you're using, your financial institution is going to ask you on that leverage, and it's going to dictate your value. So it gets kind of complicated, like you said, but once you go there, once you become an investor like that, that way you can continue on. Because you want to, once you start to buy a few properties, you want to continue on and accumulate and then switch them out. So that's why you have 5-year yields on your return of investment. So you can flip that property, get rid of it, or refinance it. But most people who buy a family would only keep them on multifamily no more than 5 years. Once it's on the market, you do a few things, and then most people actually, as soon as they buy it, they put it right back on the market. So if I paid $2.5 million for a piece of property, I would put it right back on the market, but I'll put it at $5 million and just let it sit on the market like that. You would make certain adjustments to the unit if you're in like a multifamily, depending on what unit needed to be upgraded. And then as you go, that would affect your NOI. If you were, you upgrade 5 units in a 45 unit property, right? Because that's your net. Or put a new roof on a building, that's part of it. But as you continue to go, clearly you want a high cap rate. But the higher the cap rate, though, the more risky the property. A lower cap rate would be something like a Walgreens.
Starbucks or like
Something like that, but that'd be something like your grandparents would have bought. Say like you have a wealthy grandparent or something, or they were a doctor, they would invest in that and do a land lease. And you basically leave that to your grandchildren because it's a very long-term 50-year, 99-year lease on that. So those people, that's why those type of units stay there forever. Maybe, you know, you go into an old building, 30 years old, it's still there, the old things. That's what that is. But the rate of return is much smaller, but you don't care, because you're just going into a fund. And then when your kids graduate from college or something, they can take that property and sell it.
Perfect.
And they can go on. And do what they want to do. It just depends on how they want to invest.
Thank you, Philip. We-
7-Elevens are different, that's C-stores.
We will get to questions after like the 10. That's fine, that's fine. Drew, right now, I want you to listen careful to these questions. So financing options. You see, she's happy now. We're talking about financing. So please go to the worksheet, question number 4. What is the short-term loan for private lenders, investors secured by property itself, best used for fix and flip projects, and why? Okay. Volunteer or voluntold? Go ahead, please. Use the mic. Please.
I'll go.
Maria, please go ahead.
Hard money lending. It's
Okay.
The most common one for flipping.
That's, you're right. Same? Okay. Hard money lending. Okay, let's talk about that. Sam, do you want to add something to it? Sarah?
I don't
Okay.
remember what the actual thing is called, but it's like, the investor takes over the current mortgage or pays
Okay,
subject to that's.
let's see what 2 has. Go ahead.
So private lending is
No.
basically non-traditional mortgages. Depending on the private lender, some of them only look at your credit report. They do not look at income. And some do or do not look at assets. It just depends. The key to private lending is to have a minimum of 20% down. Rates are high, but if you're doing as an investment property, right, you're probably going to flip it or something. So be conscientious of that. Most private lenders want to make their money up front, so they may charge a higher origination because they know you're not going to plan to keep that loan long. They just want you to get into the house, get the house, and then flip it later. Right, so that's the purpose of private lending.
By the way, whoever like provides us with like 5 correct answers will be winning a book. We have 3 of them. Not for you, Mario. Okay. First of all, we have the convention loans. They are required down payment, usually 20% or more for investment properties and good credit. Correct me if I'm wrong. Hard money loans. Short-term loans, they are often used for fix and flip projects with higher interest rates and fees. Private money loans, they are similar to hard money loans, but they are provided by private individuals or groups. Home equity loans, investors can tap into their equity. At Mega Camp last week, we knew that 76 of homeowners have more than 60% in equity. So if you want to invest, you can do a cash out and then you can start your venture in investing in real estate. Cash purchases are like the best for me. And I always like build a good relationship with my banks to get like a line of credit. That way I won't wait on the lender and the process. Sometimes you get a faster closing and a better deal when you pay cash. It all depends on the situation of the seller. If they are desperate, you can put the offer that you wanted. And it depends on the situation. Sometimes they will accept it. I bought a property for $330,000. That is right now at least $620,000. But the guy wanted to close in 14 days before New Year's. So yes, maybe foreclosure. So I got it and I was able, like with my relationship with the bank, to refinance it. It wasn't cheap, but trust me, it was totally worth it. Seller financing. Who knows about seller financing? Sir? Haven't heard from you today. So would you please use your mic?
Yes, I know seller finance. I mean, it's when a seller basically provides a note to the buyer.
That's perfect. Okay, you're right. So seller financing is an option that if you have no good, if you don't have a good credit, it's a good option for you. But the loan will be secured by the property. And most of the time, if you miss the payments on it, the landlord, which is the seller, will take it back. So it's a risk, right? What? Yeah, 100. Yeah, so you have to fight it. Everything in this life you need to fight for, right? So we just covered that, but let me go. So they are similar to hard money loans. They are like provided by private individuals or group of people, right? They provide that loan. Usually it's like around like, right now it's around like 12 to 13% at least, right? You can get 10. Lucky you. Okay. Okay. Legal aspects. I would like to cover the 11 points first, and then I'm gonna give you 60 seconds to go over the question. What? That is not a point. So first of all is like the property ownership structure. Number two is the zoning laws. You have to be very familiar with that. City ordinance, HOA rules is very important. Landlord tenant laws. How to get the landlord tenant laws? You can go online to State of Texas Property Code for more information. So if you want to be more familiar, go to State of Texas Property Code. Lease agreements, fair housing laws, building codes and safety regulations, insurance requirements, tax implication, and of course, if you want to be a landlord, you have to know how to evict a tenant who is not paying you on time. It's fun, it's not fun. So it's kind of, you have to be knowledgeable enough. Of course, go.
I think it's important to mention when we say about HOA rules, it's about if you are considering to purchase for a short-term lease, you just need to make sure that property, they allow it. Because most of the HOAs, they don't allow long-term lease. So it's very important to be aware of that. Sorry, yes, most of them allow long-term, not short-term.
No more for you then. You missed it. Number 6. Number 5, do you have any opportunity to write it down? Go back. Am I going too fast? Okay. I want to see your, let me see what you're doing. I know. Are we ready? Perfect. Property management. Recognize the importance of effective tenants and maintenance and management, right? But this can be taken care of. I own these properties, but I don't manage them. I don't have time to manage them, and I don't want to manage them. I want to focus on what is making me money, which is real estate. I would rather like give someone 7 or 10% and ask them to do the property management. But let me show you, a good property manager will provide you with these services: tenant screening, lease management, rent collection, which is the toughest thing, property maintenance, financial management, legal compliance, eviction process, and property inspections. You right now ask me, why do we need someone to do the property inspections? On my rental property, I have like bunch of them on Section 8. I used to dislike Section 8 because they don't provide me top dollar for my rentals. But with time, I knew that I have notes to pay every month, and I need to get this steady income from the government. So many things that I love about Section 8. One of them is they hold you accountable. How do they hold you accountable? Inspections. Yes, they do inspections. Every year, your property is subject to an inspection. And they make sure that you are up to code and your property is livable. So I always make sure that my property is very well maintained, and I'm keeping the Section 8 because I'm happy. Every month, same time, same hour, I get my money in the bank. I wait on them. I check on them most of the time. So did you take these notes or not yet? Ma'am, I can't hear you.
What's the website that shows you where you can get your top dollar for Section 8?
Well, they have like Section 8. It all depends on who they belong to, right? If we talk about like Beaumont, they have Beaumont Housing, and they have like the Port Arthur Housing too. So you have to make sure who do they have the voucher from, right? Some of them have voucher from the city of Houston, some of them from different providers. It all depends, ma'am. Where do they get the voucher from? Right, like I'm gonna give you like, I don't have those details. You can go online and get them. I can provide you the website later on once we're done with the class. But let's say for Beaumont, I have 2 providers, right? Just like this is what I have my rental properties, right? But for Houston, I can get you the website and give it to you, okay?
But what Roger's saying is accurate. Yeah, voucher, a Fort-Bend voucher, a voucher, everything's not a city voucher. Whatever that person has, it's in the city, every piece of it.
So guys, for the question number 6 on the worksheet, what did you get? Leverage. Jen said leverage. What else? What do we mean by leverage? Okay. Good answer. But I just said the leverage is like I focus on what is making me more money, right? For me, I focus on real estate, right? And I let the guy take his 7 or 10%, and everything is negotiable, right? In this industry. And I focus on my main job. Go ahead, Joseph.
I was gonna answer your question about when you asked what was leverage. And then also just to make sure, I mean, this is a lot to keep in mind. And if
Okay.
you have multiple properties, you want to make sure that you're doing everything within regulation. So if you have a company who knows how to do it, their sole purpose is to do that. You're not spreading yourself so thin and then making a mistake somewhere and then getting in trouble later because you didn't do it. So just have somebody else do it for you.
That's awesome. I do the same thing. I pay them to take the headache out of me. I don't need headaches. Jen?
And then also that allows you to invest in a lot of different areas that are not close to where you are. So having to do that property management on your own and going out to the places, it's, you know, you're wasting a lot of time in the car if you're driving everywhere. Have someone else do that.
Thank you, Jen. So 7, risk management. Identify and mitigate risks like market fluctuations and tenant turnover. Let's go back to the worksheet. Question number 7. We would like everyone to participate, ladies and gentlemen. So I need you to participate with me, right? Joanna. Of course. I'm watching you. Let's give her a couple of seconds. She's drinking water now. I'll go back to you. Let's start with someone else. Ready? Yeah, please, go ahead. Yes, sir.
So
Go ahead, please.
importance, just knowing your responsibility as a tenant and a landlord.
Okay,
It's
that's
important
good.
to know that, yeah.
Sir? Fine, you good.
Keep track of the local rulings by the courts.
Okay.
Because usually courts are mostly in favor of the tenants. You know, the rulings that are passed are more in favor of tenants, so you have to be careful that you know what the latest.
That's awesome. Good answer. Anyone else?
You have to be aware of the local ordinance regarding the property condition. And as a landlord, you're not always up to that. So
That's a great answer.
property managements are supposed to do that for you.
That's awesome. Let's see what we have here. We have to have a property insurance to secure coverage against risk like fire and liability. Number two, we have the tenant screening. You have to know who is occupying your rental properties. You work really hard to save the money and to invest in real estate. You're taking this risk and you want to make sure that whoever occupying your property is really taking care of it. How would you feel if someone ruins your property? Okay, so make sure that you're doing what you have to do prior. Regular maintenance, we covered that with the Section 8. But in order for the property to stay in shape, you always have to maintain it. Legal compliance. I had an incident with one of my tenants. We had a fire in one of the sixplexes. And at the same property, the tenant who caused the fire sued me because he said that he tripped, right? But luckily, I knew what I'm doing prior to getting into like investing in real estate. I had the liability insurance of $2 million. So they will cover an incident, the first incident for 1 million and the second one for another million, and then they will kick me out on a third. So that being said, they helped me. They provide me with an attorney who was able to provide all the evidence to the court that was a fake in a way. Yeah, but I haven't paid nothing. And this cost me around like just $2,000, $3,000 right now with the increases every year. So it's totally worth it. Emergency funds. Yes. So we have like, yeah, this is like liability insurance for the company. I will never own a property under my name. It's going to be under an LLC or ALC, an LLC or like an LP or whatever. Okay. But the thing is, if they wanna sue the company, they can sue the company all day long. We have the insurance. Hopefully you don't get sued. We're gonna keep the questions for like another 30 minutes. Next will be what's an emergency fund? Are you trying to answer the question, Ranella? What's an emergency fund? You have to either speak loud or you need to have a mic. I cannot hear you.
So it's you keep a certain percentage of your rental income just in case anything breaks,
That's awesome.
right?
So when you are a landlord, what are the risks for you? Why do you need some emergency funds? I'm not hearing the ladies here. Rhonda? Oh, okay, it's awesome. Please, can you please use the mic? Okay, so that's a good thing. We're gonna always have some accidents, right? Sometimes the AC breaks or we have vacancy. When we have vacancies, what we do? Will the bank be waiting on us to pay the note? No, right? So we have to have some emergency funds for these kind of incidents. Yeah, yeah. The next one is the lease clause, is to outline tenant responsibilities. You have to make sure that you outline this because they will always say, we don't know. They will sign it, but they don't know it. So make sure you explain it, right? Risk assessment, what does it mean? Go ahead. Okay. It's evaluate potential risk and develop mitigation strategies. Okay. Last one, professional help or real estate lawyers on retainer. Always hire a professional for the risk, right? Always like use the help of lawyers just to know your rights. Next, Yeah, we're gonna do that like once we are done. I still have like 2 more questions and we're gonna do like Q&A. So when I say like in my situation, when I had this issue with the insurance company, somebody sued me, right? Because of the liability, because I have a good insurance broker that was there to help me and guide me through the process and hold my hand. The guy, first of all, one of the profession that I will always use and always be loyal to them. They shop around to get me the best insurance policies. They make sure that we are covered if we have any issue with the tenant, or we have fire, or we have like any like force majeure, we call it, right? One of the examples was like I had like a duplex that was just remodeled. I was so happy and proud of this duplex. 3 months later, one of the biggest trees fell on the roof. I still have the video. I kept the video for 6 months. Every night I see it. It was kind of like, it was really, I felt the bitterness in it. So I don't like my insurance broker, but she's my best friend because she always like charged me a lot. But every time anything happens, she will come back and tell me, I got you covered. Those 3 things, I got you covered, are the best 3 words. I hear them when I have a problem. Okay? It's very important. Controlling the damage. Somebody taught me this. They control the damage. And I'm good at that too. Right? What else do we have today? Exit strategies. When we say exit strategies, what do we mean by that? Can we go to question 8 and then come back? We are almost there. What professional would you consult if you need to possibly tailor an exit strategy from failing investment property? You have 60 seconds. Impress me. Impress me.
Would you consider pad split as an exit?
What is that?
The one they rented by room?
Well,
Like
it
a
all
slap
depends
on
on
the
the
rental
HOA,
agreement?
right? And the regulation. If there is a deed restriction, you have to make sure. I had the client come to me and ask me to have a 4 bedrooms to be converted to 16 baths. I'm like, I don't think it's a good idea. Unless you want to carpool everywhere. Are we ready? How are we doing so far? Ah, this is not good. How are we doing so far? One more time? Perfect. Good one. Okay. Before we start like taking my answers, I would like to hear from you guys. Yes. Sam, of course you can. You see, he got me before I got him.
I would consult a financial advisor.
That's awesome. That's why we're gonna have like a special guest next class. Who's that who's that guest for next class? Who's the expert in financing? Yes.
So
her husband is one of the best financial advisors that I would personally use if I need any help. So if you need any help, that's fine. She'll be happy to provide you with his contact
yeah, I'd
information.
like his contact information actually.
That's awesome.
But yeah, financial advisor. So if you want to either sell your property, roll it over to 1031,
Okay,
they'll give you options.
100%. That's a great answer. Mona? Well, myself, I have like a lawyer, always a lawyer. I would like to be connected with a financial advisor, a good banker, and a doctor, right? And the real estate agent. Can you please help us with this, Mr. Ryan? Can he provide us with some good advice?
There are a lot of good financial advisors out there that will talk about the stock market and invest like that for you, which I have a lot of those contacts. But what my husband does is financial
Recommendations, yeah.
education, and he'll look to help you, show you how to invest smarter and how to invest in certain ways and use insurance, mutual funds, things like that, to build cash and equity and use that yourself and become your own bank to purchase properties. And so that's where the real estate part comes into it. So it is real estate based, kind of like that, but you can use it for other things. JP Morgan Chase, I just read, they have a, billion-dollar company, and it's run solely on a life insurance policy. Billions of dollars, and they run it through a life insurance policy from the proceeds they get from that, because you have cash value.
Perfect. Okay. What do we have here? Selling the property. What are our exit strategies, right? Selling the property. 1031 exchange. Sometimes, as Philip said, we list it at a higher price if we get it for a good deal. I believe that I would like to accumulate real estate as much as possible instead of selling the property, because I put a lot of effort to acquire properties in section like Class C. So I personally like to buy the property, and we're going to be talking about that very soon. 1031 exchange. Defer capital gains taxes by reinvesting in a like-kind property. Lease options. Provide tenants with the option to purchase at a set price. I'm going to give you an example in the next 15 or 20 minutes on one of my properties. Professional guidance. A CPA, financial advisor, will be helping you. These strategies help investors effectively manage the sale or transition of their property. Do we agree on that? Not all of you? Okay. Perfect. 9 is networking. Who likes networking? We are the expert when it comes to real estate. We are always networking. Happy hours, parties. What else? Who said woohoo? Sarah. Andrea. Okay. So what are we getting from networking? Can you please go to, you want me to cover that and then I go back to question 9? Are we still, hey guys? Okay, should I go to my slide and then go back to question 8, question 9? Perfect. Are we still good? Yes. Anybody bored? Is bored here? That's awesome. Okay. Building relationships. Connect with other investors, agents, and professionals. Joining groups. Attending events like we do. Leveraging social media. Collaborating on deals. Networking with professionals and vendors. I personally bought 2 or 3 properties throughout the social media, right? I see the post, I jump on it and make it happen. And somebody asked about wholesalers, right? Who did ask me about wholesalers? Yeah. So we're going to cover that. Referrals. If you are known and you have a good reputation in the area, right? They will know that, let's say, Carlos has deep pockets and he's a good landlord. So people can go and come to him and offer him properties off market. So referrals are very important if you want to accumulate real estate. Networking and with professional vendors. We covered that, right? Effective networking open doors to new opportunities in investment properties. Right now, let's go to question 9 and have a minute, please. We still have like 2 more questions and then we're going to start with the Q&A. So get your questions ready. 60 seconds. Who's ready? Go ahead, sir.
Some networking groups could be like BNI.
Okay.
And also some church groups where they do social work. And also other agencies such as, finding like the Red Cross, where they have special groups to help people in emergencies.
Okay. Good answer. Anyone else? Jen?
On Facebook, there are so many different Facebook groups for different investing things. Like there's a women's investing, there's areas, different areas and stuff. You can always find a group. And if you're nervous about getting out and seeing people, you can start on that and learn and then go and see them in person.
That's awesome. Anyone else?
I'd have something. So networking doesn't necessarily have to be just for business, but it can be pleasure such as like who you golf with, pickleball and something like that. That's natural and it can turn into networking.
Good answer. Let's keep on going. Continuous learning. Stay updated on the market trends and regulations. Very important. It is very important to always stay updated, up to date. Let me go over the next slide with you. Market trends, educational resources, networking, workshops, feedback, certifications, and adaptability. Now, can we go back to the last question, which is number 10? And get ready for the fun afterwards. So the question is, what are the next steps after attending this class? What are a few of our ahas that you were going to walk away with? We're going to have 10 volunteer. Let's start with Rhonda. No.
Can I go next?
Of course you can. Who wants you? Let's see what Mario has. Impress us. Stand up, please, and give me your aha. Come here. Come here. You've been like very nosy from the beginning. Come. Show me some love. Come on. Come on. Come on, go. Okay, go ahead. What is
Hello,
your aha?
everybody. I am Mario.
Yes.
Been here for 2 years. And my aha is that there's always lots to learn in the world of investing. From the compliance side, it's Mitch here.
He's very on the very right side of your.
Compliance is very important.
Yeah.
To also leveraging your capital, your equity into exploring other ventures.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mario. Next, Sam. What? I haven't seen it. I'm sorry. You'll be next. That's fine.
Yeah, I was actually interested in the market analysis and the future developments. I know
Okay.
there's going to be a World Cup here in 2 years.
Okay.
So that brings a lot of business, a lot of opportunities, whether it's in multi-units or getting an empty
Okay.
lot, putting a beer garden or food truck park. So that's something I have an eye out for. And so that's my aha moment.
So yeah, so what can we do if we have, let's talk about like this case, right? We're gonna have the World Cup in a couple of years. How can we invest?
I mean, you see where the games, the stadiums are.
Okay.
And then you do a radius around that. There's going to be a lot of open screen parks or
awesome
areas. You can do a lot nearby for food trucks. Or
Food trucks, parking lots. We know that the $50 parking lot. Airbnb, right?
Yeah, there's a lot.
But the
Property
short
management. I mean,
100%. This is like a short term, right? We have to make sure that we can like get money afterwards, right? Not seasonal, but it's a
yeah,
good one,
I'll
right?
pivot, yeah.
Yeah.
Figure it out.
Who else? Anu, please. Go ahead, Anu.
My aha is, oh gosh, I've been doing everything so wrong.
Okay.
Because I have 2 investment properties and one of them is actually, I have the same tenant for the past 14 years, no contract, no nothing. I haven't had any nothing. So I'm like, that's the first thing I'm
Yeah.
going to do is talk to Mitch, talk to a lawyer, talk
Yeah.
to everybody possible and get myself straight.
By the way, we are very lucky to have Mitch in this office, right? So please give Mitch a big round. He's lovely sometimes, but he always gives us hard time. Rhonda, you ready? What's your aha?
Hi, everyone. I've actually had clients come to me and they want to purchase a rental property and I do the CMA, make sure the numbers work, that sort of thing, and cap rates and that sort. But where you took it a little bit deeper in regards to the risk and the ordinances and the HOA and all of these things and the protection that he needs to have in place was kind of an aha for me.
That's awesome. Thank you. Who else? We just talked about the 10 key takeaways. We're gonna keep on going right now with the Q&A. Are you all ready? Let's get. No, you've been ready for a while. Go ahead. You want me to go over my properties, how I flip them first, or you wanna like start the Q&A?
Well, I was gonna say, and then the question. if you like.
What is that? Go ahead.
Was that I don't know anything about zoning, or where can I find the zoning, or who can I ask about the zoning?
The what?
City ordinance.
Zoning.
Yeah, the legal.
Mitch, how can we
legal
get zoning?
Zoning.
Okay. We are in Houston. We have, look at Mitch.
Yeah.
He gets very excited now. He got up. Yes.
There may not be zoning, but you want to check in the neighborhoods to see what type of restrictions they have.
Exactly. So
Mhm.
I don't know where you even find that. I have no idea.
Start with the municipality, the HOA, the developer,
Yeah, for example, if I buy land.
title
and,
companies.
Like, how do I know what can I do with the land? Can I put a tiny house? I have been asked this question so long. I don't know where to find that.
I can tell you where to find it.
Go ahead, Philip.
So you want to call the county, wherever it is. So we say League City.
Okay.
Call the city of League City, ask for their planning department. They'll contact them and ask them what they can do. They'll tell you what that piece of property can be done. And then afterwards, you call the engineering department, it's a staff, right? Because they might have retention and detention issues for whatever you want to do on that property. So you would have to find out what that is, find out impervious coverage and everything, and find out what exactly, how big of a detention pond or whatever you might need, whatever you want to do. That's how you would go about the process.
City?
Call the planning department. They gotta
Call the planning department, right?
And then call the engineer.
Write them down.
And write any contact you have down, keep their names, and once the project is done, if it's a woman, send them flowers.
Yes. This is how we do it, Philip?
Because they'll remember you the next time you need,
Yeah.
and you won't have to go through, because the process is not easy. They're not just sitting there waiting, it's the city of Houston, they're not efficient. Okay, it's this government, so get ready.
Wow.
Thank you,
that's great.
Philip. Next.
That's really good. Thank you. And my question was.
Your question is, guys. Oh, flowers too. Okay, let's start with this one. Do you have another question? Do you want to see how I started, or you want to go with your question? What do we want? Okay, so this is my first flip in Houston. Guys, this is my first flip in Houston, 2018. The love of my life. I was very excited to come and flip a property in Houston. Excitement mean no due diligence, no homework, no money, right? I was like, I just got my license in 2017. I want to be within the 90% of, I want to be a millionaire, right, in real estate. I always read these articles, and I was very excited. First flip, $186,000, $176,000. We will talk about that. First of all, key lessons are pick the right contractor. You have to have a good contractor when you want to flip. Check the school district. Right now we're laughing. I cried over this. So if you want to hear what I did, just like listen carefully, okay? First one is pick the right contractor. Check the school district. And you know what I'm talking about, right? Number three, do the CMA without being emotionally attached to the property. My house is the best house on earth. But I didn't know that the property is on a major street. But it's very important, right? That's why you have to know how to do CMA, right? It depends on the location of the property. You might have challenges. I didn't know that we have to do like underground plumbing. I didn't hear about that. If you know me, you know that I'm not handy. Instead of fixing, I buy a new one. This is me. Roof, I thought it looks beautiful. I didn't know that the rafters needs to be changed. And there is a leak all over. So you can have a pool party on my roof. Number three, overpriced. I got the property for $176,000. I'll go over the numbers later on. It's high. It is very high. Couldn't sell it. This is when I started like crying. Watch out, karma is bad. So this is the new beautiful girl that I will send flowers to. My first investment property. I bought the property for $176,000. 176, by the way, you don't find these numbers in Houston anymore. That was 6 years ago. Whoever tells me it's expensive, it is expensive because I didn't know what I'm doing. I didn't know. I thought 176, I put the money, I'll make them happen. I watch those like movies a lot and the reels. They flip it to $100,000. They flip it to $100,000. I was like, I am gonna have a lot of money. What should I do with it? Right? But I didn't know that if you don't have that money anymore, you will start crying. Right? So I spent $20,000 in holding cost. What holding cost means? What is that? That's awesome. If you want to hold the property, that is a cost for that, right? So I paid taxes, insurance, and of course, luckily I paid cash for that. I was rich, not anymore. $5,000 towards like closing costs with that company because I was brave enough to offer the listing agent my closing cost and the seller's closing cost. Earnings. Chuck Roush was my coach and I was part of Keller Williams Memorial. Now we have the best coaches here. We have this beautiful lady that always pour into the new agents, Belle. You have an advisor to help you through the process, not in investing. I am here to help you in regards to investing and answer your questions. But I came back, I was desperate. I listed the property for $326,000. What is Gabby Benzer? We moved, like we joined together this office in 2017 or 18, I believe. So she was helping with the CMA. We did the CMA. We're trying to get ready and want to celebrate. So what happened is they advised me to lease the property. I didn't want that. I want the quick money. I want the $100,000. I want to be rich just in doing investment real estate. What happened, I leased the property because I was supported by the best. We have the best KW Memorial here. We have the best KW. And we deserve a big round of applause right now for the leadership, excluding me, and for the staff and every one of you. Okay? We are in this office, we are family. If you need any help, we will all jump to the rescue. And I promise you, if anything you need in regards to investing, I'm here to help you. But please don't come up with those like, I saw my uncle bought the property. Know your numbers. Do these activities. Jen?
Did your realtor tell you to do an inspection?
Unfortunately, I was a new realtor. So I cannot blame the realtor for the first time in this life. So what I did, I leased the property for 2 years. They advised me to keep the property till the market gets better. I leased the property for a great couple. Now they are like good friends of mine. I leased it for $48,000 and sold it later on to the current tenant at $275,000. So what happened in this case? I got $48,000 in leases because right now I'm the expert, right? And I listened to the experts. I sold for $275,000. I net about $52,000 because the wholesaler came at that time and offered me $190,000. So people are looking always for opportunities. Wholesalers will always look for opportunities. They buy the property, they hold the contract for a couple of months, and they will get all the money and pay you a small amount of money for desperate people. That how I was at that time. So if you know what you're doing, you will always make money in real estate. You have to know the timing and you know how to purchase investment properties. This is my next one. This came from social media. I was on Sunday on social media, looking on Facebook group how investors in Houston, and I saw that $130,000. It looks like a shack, right? By the way, this is how you make money. Because I know like big shot people that invest in real estate, and we are not like close to them. I have a friend of mine, I didn't know that he was a big shot till I went to Orlando to his house, 12 bedroom, 5 luxury cars. He owns 2,300 apartments. 2,300 apartments. So these kind of stuff will make us 6 figures and like just like flipping if you want to play with that. This is how it becomes. I got $33,000 out of this deal in 65 days, I believe. 2.5 months. I bought it. I had the crew. They jump on it, fix it, and sold it. This is 3. These all are in Spring Branch, by the way. When I said no, the school district, you have to know and you have to be zoned to a good school district. This is a beautiful area, right? But it was zoned to a horrible elementary. I couldn't make a lot of money on it. I made like $25,000. And as you know, this is the new, that was like that. We switch it to this. Beautiful, right? But it's not worth to spend 6 months just to make $25,000 on flips. You'll be frustrated. You're going to be checking on the property every single day. You will fight with 300 contractors and you will hate them. And afterwards, you're going to beg them just to come back. Like when you have a girlfriend and you love her, but you try to play it with her and you lose, you have to beg her to come back. Same thing with contractors. This is another property on Cavalcade on 45, which is like the new Heights. This is what they call it, right? What happened on this one, it was kind of a challenge. It was kind of a referral from someone who owned it, but he couldn't keep the relationship with the contractor. So what happened, she called me and I was very excited to buy it because that will be the first property that I will have an extension to it. It was 900 square feet. And in that area, you can sell it for way more money if you extend it like 17 or 1,800 square feet. All lots around like 5,000 square feet. I had the worst contractor ever. The property stayed on the market for 8 months. You never know. I don't know what happened with this guy. The property stayed on the market for 8 months, and we barely made $12,000 on it. So flipping is very awesome, but it's very risky too. You cannot do it for fun unless you know what you're doing. Well, not go ahead. Can I please next to you?
How can you know if you can do extensions to the home? Who do you
City.
contact? The city?
You have to have permits, right?
Yeah.
You have to be like familiar with the permits laws, right? We mentioned that the first hour. That's why I asked you to be like very careful listening to me because we're gonna cover that throughout my experience, right?
Okay. And HOA?
Well,
Both?
this is city, right? You get the permits from
Like
the city,
building,
right?
on the backyard
Yeah,
extension?
of course.
Okay.
So we had the whole thing. This is the new house. You remember? You remember? So I asked Arash to come and help me, and he came in 2022, and I was, Arash, just help me out. I need to get out of this deal, right? Luckily, we sold the house. This is when I wanted to upgrade my status. I want to start doing commercial, 5 unit plus, right? This is a better one because it was not an active church. It used to be 15 years ago, right? I bought the property after having 3 contractors that couldn't make it. I was able to convert it to this. I bought the property throughout like a group on social media. I got my group from Houston because it was a lesson learned. I didn't want to venture new things with new contractors in a city that I don't know nothing about, which is Beaumont, right? I got my people from Houston. They charged me way more, and I was very happy to pay that because I knew that I would pay that much money and I'll get a way better return instead of exploring new contractors and have like the headache. So we got the crew from Houston that helped me flip it, spent $60,000 throughout 9 inspections. 9 inspections. That was 7 years ago. Now the number would be like at least 160 or 120,000. The lumber went up and everything is costly right now. So I drove to Beaumont for each inspection. Beaumont is 100 miles away. But I'm not living there. I don't care, right? I will go there, check on my workers, on my property, and come back. And keep in mind, with the smaller capital, you have to go to the suburbs in order to build your empire, right? Section 8, very grateful to Section 8. I have the Section 8 right now. I have everyone helping me. They know me in the city. And sometimes the property manager get calls and referrals from them because they know that we keep our properties in good shape. Some inspection took a while to pass. Can you imagine Roger going to Beaumont talking to cowboys about inspection and not knowing what I'm doing? First of all, it took him like a while to understand my accent. Number two, took me a while to understand the guy and then to get the information from contractors to answer them. But I was very curious to know the process. And now I know the process. Joe? No, when we own the property, we're gonna cover that later on. So, what did you see tax benefits? So when we talk about tax benefits, right? I always like get my property, like I get like a lot of like cash out on my properties because all the tax, all the interest are deducted from my taxes, right? So I don't mind. I get more money from the bank. I make sure that I am growing my investments, and I have a rule. I have to grow my investment 10% every year, regardless. If I'm not having money, whatever. So I keep on forcing myself to grow my investment 10% every month, every year. I hope not every month. But the thing is, like, I want to get to a point to have 100 units. So when I get to 100 units, I can retire. But I'm going to still love you and come back to see you. So this is an 8-plex that I bought. I bought it for $330,000. Like 2 years ago, it was appraised for 500,000+. I spent $70,000 in remodeling. It used to get us, this is the previous one, this is an old one, $6,500 a month. A little bit about like the PNL, the expenses. What kind of expenses should we get when we have a rental property? A very common one, if they have 1 meter, right? They are all sharing 1 meter. We have the water bill, right? Number 2, we have property taxes. Number 3, we have insurance. And then we have for the main meter, the electrical bill. And of course, the maintenance, the monthly maintenance. Right now, now it's your turn. I did my part and I want to answer your question for the last 30 minutes. Do you have any question? Yes? Go ahead, please.
So I know you talked about the ways to find a good deal was from referrals or social media, but what is like the best way to find a good deal that is consistent to flip a home, for example, to invest in properties like for flipping?
So it's a good question. It's very similar to your real estate business, right? You get referrals all the time from the firm, from the same person. What do? Awesome. That's why we do networking, right? We all spread the word that we are real estate agents and we maximize our option to be always visible. So you have to be visible. Visibility is our responsibility. Once you are visible, people will always like keep on thinking about you, either by posting on social media, by having podcasts like you do, right? Always visible. You have to be very visible, okay? And keep people in mind, I am looking to buy properties in my neighborhood. If you have any property or if you have anyone that is interested to sell their property, this is my phone number. Sometimes you have to play the game. I know it's not good to say it, but if you call me directly, I will save you. We have that. Do you hear that or no? If you call me directly, I'll save you 6% or whatever number that you pay for your realtor, right? Again?
Sorry, no, a continuous question.
Yeah.
So just to add to this, have you ever dealt with a wholesaler? Like, do you trust them? Because usually they take a huge portion of that and they give you 100, but fixing the property is usually more. So you feel like you don't have a lot of, like a good return. Return is very low, so would you trust an wholesaler?
What I'm saying is, it all depends on your relationship with the wholesaler and their reputation, right? First of all, how can I trust them? I have to trust my knowledge first. Do I trust that this property is good for my family, which is my investment? You have to do your numbers, you have to do your CMA, you have to run your own numbers. How much this property will be leased for, how much this property will be sold for, right? So you have to trust yourself and not trust nobody else when it comes to your money. Everybody wants your money, right? Sir? Okay. So can you please introduce yourself, please?
Denny, I've been a realtor in this office since
That's
about
awesome.
2017. I'm also a general contractor. and I
That's
do some
fantastic.
Investing on the side. To answer your question about the best deals are the ones that you're going to source yourself. That means door knocking. You're looking for distressed properties. I've heard stories of people sitting in a courtroom, with tax court or whatever, hitting on the guys there to try and, see if they're interested in selling. Because those guys, they're short on cash. They're probably desperate. But that's a lot of time, and that's where kind of wholesalers come in because they're doing those things. Again, that's like leverage, right? Because how much time do you have walking neighborhoods and checking the properties with the lawns that haven't been mowed in 6 months? Wholesalers are already doing that. So now you got to, like anything else as a real estate agent, you have to do your due diligence because there are some shady ones out there. Make sure you're always going through a title company so that you're protecting your investment.
That's awesome. This is a good one.
But
Like
that's probably the
going-
best way to look at it.
Going through the title company, right? To have a clean deed. Thank you, Danny.
That's something else.
Please.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
So regarding wholesalers, you also have to keep in mind that wholesalers do not look at that property. So there's a lot of risk involved in that because what they're doing is they're finding the property and they're finding the buyer at the same time, obviously getting a chunk of that in the middle. So because I've had clients that have bought through wholesalers and their investment in fixing up the property, it's substantially higher because they just don't know.
So wholesalers usually are like connected with the neighborhood or the realtors or friends that can always feed them properties that are off market. Like the one that I bought that used to be a church, they bought it for like $25,000 less, and she tried to charge me more for my part. So that's their right to make money. But before we buy it, we have to know our numbers. Next question. Go ahead, please, sir.
Yes, this is more of clarification. which I'm
Yes.
seeking. Now, during your talk, you mentioned that you buy the properties and hand it over to a property manager.
Yes, sir.
Who takes care of everything.
Correct.
Then later on, when you went to the examples, you showed that you have single family properties in different parts, one in Beaumont, one in Spring Branch. And now, do you have one property manager for all those properties, which are like 100 miles away? Or do you have separate property managers?
It's a very good question. Thank you. First of all, I do flips, right? When I had time. Now I don't have time to flip. I believe in growing my investment like portfolio, which is like my rental portfolio, is very crucial for me. So this is my niche. I want to make sure that I have 100 units within 10 years, let's say, right? In Beaumont, I have an expert. The guy manages like 200 units and my units as well. In Houston, I used to do it myself, but I used to have a general contractor. If you want to do more money in flipping houses, you have to be knowledgeable enough and you have to have your own connections. You get the plumber yourself. You don't need the general contractor, GC. This is how you make your money. If you want to maximize your chance to making money on the property, you have to have your own connections. A plumber, electrician, a roofer, etc. Right? That answer your question. Perfect. Who else? Ranella.
Oh, my question to you was about the LLC.
Can you speak louder, please?
Oh, sorry. So my question to you was about the LLC. Do you do an LLC for each company? And how do you, or for the flips?
So
if
it's a
different?
preference. Some of them will do an LLC for each property, and some of them will have an umbrella. But as long as you have, I personally like to have them under one big company, under one big umbrella, right? But I always have like the liability insurance if anything happens. By the way, our attorney, our legal counselor, Hubert Vaughn, provides you these services. If you reach out to him, he will be more than happy to provide you these services. I need to charge him for this. Okay. Go ahead, please. Can you please introduce yourself? Hi, Kelly.
Hello,
Hi.
my name is Kelly Swain. I wanted to ask the gentleman down there in the corner who was talking about investments, the one with the glasses. are
Philippe?
looking. Why would you list your property immediately after you bought it? You said, once you buy the property, then you put it back on the market. What?
Philippe.
Because my intent is to sell.
Right, but if you're gonna hold on to it for 5 years,
I don't expect somebody to pay double what I paid for it.
right,
But at the same time, I do expect somebody to come in at a price. So I'm leaving the door open. Eventually, your property hopefully will appreciate,
right,
right? To be the same thing, say, for instance, they said invest in land. So do your research. So right now, they're putting a highway between Houston and College Station. It's a big highway, right?
Yeah.
You can only imagine that it's only gonna grow over time.
Bless
So
you.
a lot of hands have sit on it for a while, but just put it back on the market immediately. So if you pay 30 acres for $1 million, put it on the market for 2.
okay, and just sit.
Eventually, a developer is gonna come and buy it. Eventually, you'll get your 2 million.
Well, it would kind of influence the market as well too, because when you go to pull up the,
You wanna put it
Yeah,
out there.
yeah, put the price out there so other people will
You
follow
already
suit.
know they're gonna come in less anyway.
Yeah. Okay,
Maybe
I
you'll
like
get-
that.
Maybe you'll get 3 million if it's for 2 million. Maybe you'll get it right away. Somebody will buy it.
And then, of course, if you
don't
drop
know. You'll
it,
just go ahead and go, okay, fine, I'll take my million and go buy something else, right?
yeah. Yeah,
I
I
have-
like that idea, especially if you did put it on, say you doubled the price, and then of course you had a huge drop. You'd probably draw more attention to it when you were
This
actually
is
ready
what we
to
call
sell.
negotiation, right? You have to have an expert in negotiating.
Yeah,
Yeah.
nice. Okay, thank you.
Philip, I have a question. Now, if you have a house or property, then you get some rental income from that. Now, if you're investing in land, you have the holding cost for the land till you get a proper investor.
Right, but your holding cost is what, taxes?
Yes.
So you would get an ag exemption depending on the size of the property that you have. So anything above 5 acres, you can put something. So you can put bees on there now. It's a very popular thing. They have TV shows and all this stuff, these bee people and whatnot.
Yeah.
They're all very odd people, by the
Jen?
way. But anyway, you can put bees on it. and
I'm
then
too
you
sweet. I don't
pay
want to put bees.
$800 a year. Right, I mean, it's just depending on the property. There's a lot of ways that you can go.
When?
But remember, when you sell the property, you
Yes.
gotta deal with that ag
But
exemption
I am
too,
scared of
because
bees.
Yeah, yeah. So there's.
change of use.
messy.
Andrea?
That's an option. There are different options. Thank you.
Thank you, Philippe. Thank you, Philippe. You have a question?
Yes,
Go ahead.
Andrea, and I have a question for you,
Hi,
Roger.
Andrea.
If giving advice to someone who hasn't started investing yet, where would you point them to begin for, I guess you would say, I know there's risk with everything, but lower risk, something that can be a little more,
Okay, this is the
Consistent.
one thing that I will start with. It's just like a starting point. Who is renting here? Renting, not owning. Anybody renting? Okay, so I'm gonna take Joseph as a case. I would highly recommend Joseph to buy instead of like helping a landlord like me to build wealth. Because right now, even though the interest rate right now is 10%, let's say 6, 7, whatever, this is just 6% versus 100% interest rate for any rentals. So as a realtor, I highly suggest you buy your own property. And if you have a lot of equity in yours, you can refinance. We have 2 fee here. She's busy, but I also send her business. So you can go talk to her and try to refinance. Or what are our options for multifamily right now, properties? Can we go with as low as 5%?
So on FHA, you can do a fourplex, claim as a primary residence, live in one and rent the other 3 out. If you are buying a duplex or triplex or a fourplex and it's currently rented out, we can use that as income to help your ratios in financing. That's on FHA. The maximum loan amount is 498,000 and some change. And then on conventional, you can actually do 5% down also. So just
Perfect.
FYI. But the duplex on FHA, it does increases depending how many units you have, and conventional too.
She's not engaging today because it's not Tuesday, but that's fine. That's fine.
Yes, I'm exhausted from
Yeah.
Tuesday.
So Andrea, there is no like right or wrong timing to invest. Just start, and it's never too late to start. Never. You know when it's too late? When you are retired and you don't have any income anymore, and you have a bunch of money that you don't know what to do with, right? As realtors, we eat what we kill, right? So if I want to take a vacation, I'm my own boss, right? I stop selling and there is no income anymore. Can you imagine like 70, 50, 200 years, whatever, you decide to retire and you don't have any income? Of course, you need to have a financial advisor. But if you can have some real estate, that would be way better too, right? Please.
I attended a KW class years and years and years ago. I can't remember his name, but he was really good. And the first thing that he had said also is with real estate agents, we don't have typically a 401k because we're our own
On our own,
businesses, our
yeah.
own bosses. So what he did is he says, look at your monthly expenses, figure out how much you spend
Bless you.
a month, like doing all the things you like to do, not bare minimum, but like going out, all of that. See what you spend a month. If it's $10,000 a month, what you need to do for your retirement plan is to purchase as many rental properties that you can divide the rent up and for that to equal 10,000 a month. So then that's your retirement plan right there. So that's when I started investing, is I was creating my retirement plan. So my houses aren't all completely paid off yet, but by the time I retire, they will be, and I'm just getting passive income. And like Roger said, I don't have to work.
So would you mind if I talk about like your condo that we talked about last time, right? So you don't have any specific place that to invest. He was asking me where to invest. We were in Austin last week, right? And what did you tell me? I asked you, are you staying in a hotel? What do you tell me?
No, staying in my condo
Okay.
in Austin,
So
which is a really good place because it's on West Campus. We will always have tenants there. I mean, it's
So guys, be open-minded when it comes to investments. If you can find a good deal, it's always a good time to buy it. Okay. Next. Hey, Mike, I love that.
Hello,
Hi.
my name is Lilia. I have a question. So currently on my own home, I have about 150K in equity.
Okay.
So I'm thinking about either list it for sale, or do you recommend to refinance and then get some equity out and buy another home and then rent this one? Or I'm kind of stuck. I don't know what to do at this point.
What kind of plan do you have in mind?
I would like to either sell it and with that money, probably buy 2 houses, like rent
Okay.
one and then keep one for myself. And I'm just trying to
So-
do something with this equity, like,
That's
I don't know
good.
what to do.
That's good. So
Can we
we have
set an appointment? Would you like to come
Look
sit
at
with
that.
me? That's
Yes.
awesome.
100% referral fee. So the thing is, what we do most of the time, one big mistake we do as an agent, right? When we go to list a property, we always focus on listing. Keep in mind, we have to focus on what's the best interest for our client. That being said, are you pre-qualified prior to doing this move?
No, well, I haven't
So
done that.
that's why I would highly recommend you, but you jumped on it. That's
Right.
okay. I highly recommend you just to consult with a lender to see if you qualify right now with your current like financials prior to taking that decision. But that will be a great idea. She will like offer you a couple of plans to see which route is the best for you to start investing. Don't wait.
Okay.
Don't wait.
Right.
I wanted to always like invest in class A because of my friends used to have those 360 units and the expensive ones. I don't want to. You will never make money from rich people. I told you that. You will never make money from rich people. So you need someone who is in need of a shelter. You need someone who is in need to take your property as is, not someone who is like very picky. When we have any luxury property, we see different scenarios. They show up with the Bentley, with its $15,000 Chanel, and somebody has a lot of Berkshire. So, and they start like walking, right? It's kind of like they are enjoying to spend $3 to $4 million. Most of my luxury properties been sold for cash buyers. Cash buyers. So I know anything above like 1 million, 2 million, most of the time it's cash. And they deal with millions like we deal with $10,000. So if you want to make money, you have to make money from the people who are in need of you. Next. Yes. Have you ever had nice? First, we're so happy to have you here.
Thank you.
You
Well,
just joined us like last week.
yeah, well, just Tuesday.
That's Tuesday. That's awesome.
So gosh, just, I guess, oh, I'm sorry, it was maybe Monday, but it was this week.
Whatever.
It's been
Let her be
work.
happy. Tuesday.
So, I would like to invest in real estate, but
Okay.
I've made the mistake of I haven't saved up a lot of money.
Okay.
So, can you only invest in real estate when you've saved up a lot of cash to invest? Because, you wouldn't necessarily borrow money to make an investment, right?
Okay. So that's like I borrow money to grow my investment personally. I want to grow with somebody else's money. I have good credit and I know how to do these things, right? You have to talk to a lender that can advise you, or you can talk to professionals. This is what we mentioned earlier, right?
Okay.
You can start investing as low as a 5% down payment.
Wow.
So she offered that, I believe, and that was recently offered. So take advantage of that. That's why what I'm saying is you have to know the ways of getting financing, right? And number two, you have to know your numbers. You have to always have the numbers in line, right?
Right.
Okay.
Oh, so you're
Yes.
saying that one can invest in real estate?
Say it again, please.
Oh, one can invest in real estate simply on the premise of having good credit?
Well, this is a question for the lender, right?
Okay.
But once you are approved, right?
Right.
You or like anybody else can help you finding your right properties as long as the numbers are in line, which is I'm happy to meet with you to go over the numbers and make sure that it's a good investment. Okay.
But the best thing is probably to save up money. And
It's a
then
personal
invest.
preference, right? I personally don't like cash anymore.
Okay.
Right?
Oh,
I don't
because-
like cash.
Oh, because then it just sits there not
No.
earning money.
Let's go. Like, right now, I'm gonna start crying because I'm gonna start talking about my thing. Like cash, we used to like believe that cash is king. Cash is king to a certain level. Like if you are Lebanese or you know any Lebanese people right now, in 2019, our money disappeared. So right now, I would like to see my money. I pass by my investment properties and I feel that they are good, they are safe. And if anything happens, we have insurance, right? So I invest in real estate because the money itself will lose value versus the property, like the real estate will have an appreciation every single year automatically. Okay?
So it's kind of similar to investing in art, because
Yeah.
if you invest in
Of
good
course.
art, you hope that the value goes up.
So my mom likes to invest in art, right? Every time I pass by the art, I love it, but I love real estate. It's a personal preference, right?
Right.
We have a lot of arts in the house, but personally, I'm not attached to them. I'm attached to my real estate thing. So go back to that. It's a personal preference. Next, please, go ahead. Yeah.
I understand where you're going with the cash. Is it difficult in this market to compete when you're not buying cash at the lower price points?
So it's a very good question. So it's case by case.
So if you had a client, what would your script be?
If I have,
If you have
personally,
a client that's buying an investment with a loan
okay,
in a current market condition.
that's a good thing. It's a very good question. So for me, I will always like try to explain the process for the agent or for the seller, right? You will get your money in 30 days, right? Regardless the source of the funds, either cash from my account or from Two's big account. So as long as my client is approved, not pre-approved, approved, and have a good reputation, and I will always ask the bank to support me with the good document, like from Chase.
The
Hopefully,
appraisal.
what is that?
The appraisal is the issue.
The appraisal is an issue if you're putting like 5% down, right? But if you're putting
I guess
like
if
in
you're willing to give
commercial,
Cash gap, then you're okay.
well, cash is good. It's always good. But when you pay cash for the
No, I'm
property,
talking about the cash gap between
Say
the
again.
appraisal, cash gap
okay,
between the appraisal and what you offer.
okay. Go ahead, man.
Yes, so based on that, when you send a pre-approval letter and you have a huge down payment, when you run it through the system, sometimes an appraisal is not even required. Right? So then when appraisal is not required and you send a pre-approval letter and it shows you're putting 25% down, that's still a strong approval. Right? Instead of sending one that's 3.5% down, 5% down.
So let me tell you what
Yes.
happened with me when I first started. I can talk about myself. So when I first started, I had to build a relationship with the commercial lender, right? They asked me to put down 35% on the property. So the appraisal was not required at that time. Yeah. If you know what you're doing, you have to lay down the process and set the expectation. So you make it easier on them and you make things happen faster. Thank you, Rhonda.
But I think what Rhonda was saying, it's a little more complicated when you're competing with someone who has cash, because you can offer to close in a very few days than compared to someone who
awesome.
has a loan.
So as I said earlier, it's case by case. If I am selling a commercial property, most of the time, I'm like Philip, right? I bought the property for $1 million and I want $3 million out of it, right? So I wait on the right person who was gonna give me the best out of it for my property. And I won't settle but for the top dollar. Do you agree?
Yes, but it's a case by case.
100%. It all depends on if he's gonna get foreclosed on in a couple of weeks, right? Then you look for a cash buyer. For me, I'll always wait to get someone who's paying me a top dollar on my property. It's totally worth it. If you can hold on it, sleep on it, hold it for like 5 years, as Philip said, on some properties, that will be way better option because it's appreciating year by year. Next. She doesn't need a mic. Go ahead.
What does the mic do? Makes me better like that. So my family grew up in what is now called Midtown, but it was once Third Ward. And now you're seeing the $700,000, $1 million, 1.7 million on Ozark Street. That I'm just trying to figure out, what are these builders thinking? Like, who in the heck is going to buy that with a crack house behind it? I just don't understand. What's the investment mindset behind that? Is it like what Philippe was saying, they got to hold it long enough to where all
I
that's
love that.
out? Yeah, that
I personally, correct.
It's like
I
weird.
personally, if I see any house that is already remodeled, I will never go buy it. I will never do that. I will always like invest in the right areas that it's like promising or like upcoming areas, right? I want to maximize the chance of making money. If somebody like Arash came early and bought the property and made it like beautiful and remodeled it, he already maxed out that property. I don't want that. Of course, it's a beautiful. What did it take him to make it beautiful? He spent some time. And then he used his knowledge, right? And he maxed out. He wants top dollar for this property. So I always highly recommend you to buy properties that are in the upcoming area, please. You are a realtor. Yeah. If you like Mona, like, by the way, I didn't know Mona for a while, but when I met her, I know that she's very super smart and brilliant lady. So you have to do your homework, right? When it comes to real estate, you have to read the history. Okay. And everything in this life. You look at the person, you read his history. What does he do? What is his routine usually? And same as the property, you have to do the same thing. What is your mic? Your mic is next to you. Okay, can you please hear the loud voice then?
Here.
Yes,
in the
that was
office
better.
That can give me like statistics about areas that have the highest rental return. Is that right or not?
Well, the thing
Like,
is, we can help you through that, but you are the real estate advisor and expert.
Okay.
Why people like hire you? They hire you for your expertise, right? They
Yeah.
hire me for my services, for level of services. So you are an advisor. You have to make sure before you invest in any area, you have to know the ins and out of it, right? And the history out of
course.
it. But trust me, I'm here to help you. And if you have any question,
Okay. I have another question.
go ahead.
Investment comes with a financial liability.
Okay?
Like you take loans and
Yeah.
like you have, so how does this weigh on you? Like,
I personally
Like,
don't sleep. I use not to sleep. So this is not new. So
the
it all
more you
depends.
have properties, the more you have loan
I am-
liability.
Okay, knowing me, I'm never satisfied. Why? Because I have the fear of being an average person in life. I will say it again. I always work very hard because I have a fear of being an average in my life. Life is a choice. What do you want to be? You want to be top 1% or you want to be the top 50%? Life is a risk. If I walk outside, I don't know, I cannot guarantee nothing but two things: death and taxes, right? So two things are guaranteed in this life. Fear? In this terms right now, if a crash happen, I have 65% in equity. I'm not worried about that. So when the market is not good to invest, I pay my debt, right? You have to play the game. That is the reason why 90% of the people become actually millionaires throughout real estate. When you know the game, when you know the rules, you make money in anything in this life. Anything, right? When we know what we offer here at this market center, you'll be the best realtors. We will be the best realtors. But if we just complain and we always think that the grass is always greener on the other side, you're not gonna know what we offer. I can challenge every one of you here that you don't know what we offer. All the services that we offer. I didn't know it till I get to this role, right? So thank you, Mona. Rhonda, you had a question?
Speaking of the market up and down, crash, what have
Okay.
you. I mean, if you're buying it for a long-term investment, because if I purchase one, we would probably do it as a long-term, so that my
Okay.
daughter has it eventually, right? But is there a time that you should sell?
Like what happened with my property on Hammerley, right? I bought the property, it was a mistake. I just explored my option. What are my options? Is to wait, lease it right now with a good tenant, and then later on, when they love the property, I can either offer it to them or I can wait on the market to get better in 2021. It was an insane market. You know that, right? We used to put the property on the market within hours. I got 300 phone calls and at least 10 to 15 offers. And people used to beg me to buy the property, right? So we wait till the right time to sell the property if we need to do that. Or I would highly recommend to keep that property because I believe that the money will lose value versus property will always appreciate in real estate. Who else?
I know we're coming to the end. So I
No.
wanted to bring in the series that you're doing. So this is one part of a series. So topics that you're going to be doing later. And if you're open, because there are certain things, I know everybody kind of comes in with their own situations.
Okay, I'm glad you got that. You brought that. So the next class will be by invitation only. It's not to public. If you wanted to invest in real estate and you are curious to know what you have a plan or a goal, you're happy to email me and I'll include you, or you can email Julie. We need to make sure that we are masterminding with the right group of people, right? And we are providing them value. What I just showed you in a couple of hours, that was my life for the last 6 years. And it wasn't that good. It wasn't. I was not suffering. I was very good. But the lack of knowledge created a lot of anxiety. And I'm here just to provide you with some good advice and tips just to apply on your own. How easy was it, Jen, to get your own investment? The first one, how was it? Yeah. Was it as easy as now?
No, I'm
Okay. So a couple of things that will help you: knowledge, experience, and money, right? Go ahead, ma'am.
Hi, my name is Lucy.
Hi, Lucy.
Um, do you recommend to give money extra to the principal of your primary house or to save that money for an investment?
Perfect. So it's a good question. I will go back to the personal preference. When I want to pay my debt, I pay out of the principal, right? Two,
Well, that all depends, right? Because the interest you pay on your house is always a tax deductible, is tax deduction, correct? If you have any other debts that you're just throwing interest away, I would apply that my extra money towards those debt. Right? If you look at it from financial price, financial perspective, everybody has different goals. But if you have extra money lying around, I would get rid of any debt that I'm paying interest on that's not gaining me any benefit.
perfect. Guys,
Say something real quick
please,
about
go
that?
ahead.
That's one thing that we've always struggled with. And as an Asian person, you always say, oh, pay off all those debts so you don't have anything. But my financial advisor had told me, because I have a 2-point-something interest rate. So why do I want to pay that off? I can keep that money. And luckily I did, because then I could use the cash that I had to go buy the other property instead of paying an 8% interest rate on another property. So yes, I still have that on my primary residence because it's so low. I'll pay off all the higher interest rates first with the cash I have.
So one thing before we leave, once Jen is done, at Mega Camp, I got one good aha, and it's not like related to what? One of them right now that I can share with you. So if you have buyers in your database, please reach out to them and ask them that question. At which rate would you be willing to jump off the fence? That's a way to communicate with them, remind them about you, and of course, build your pipeline and get them ready to sell or like to buy a property as soon as possible. Keep in mind, there is a lot of agents in this city. Be very unique and be different and always find your niche, okay? We're gonna have another class, an advanced one in a couple of months. If you are interested to start like investing, I would like you to be part of that. And before I leave, I would like to always highly recommend to think big, build equity, invest in yourself, and invest in real estate. Thank you all for attending this class. I enjoyed it. Thank you. Thank you.